Return to the Lord. Return to the Lord our God, who is gracious and merciful, slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love.
Today's Holy Gospel is according to St. John, the 13th chapter.
Glory to you, O Lord.
Now before the festival of the Passover, Jesus knew that his hour had come to depart from this world and to go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. The devil had already put it into the heart of Judas, son of Simon Iscariot, to betray him. And during supper, Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hand, and that he had come from God and was going to God, got up from the table, took off his outer robe, and tied a towel around himself. And he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with the towel that was tied around him. He came to Simon Peter, who said to him, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus answered, "You do not know now what I am doing, but later you will understand." Peter said to him, "You will never wash my feet." Jesus answered, "Unless I wash you, you had no share with me." Simon Peter said to him, "Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head." Jesus said to him, "One who has baths does not need to wash, except for the feet, but is entire clean, and you are clean, though not all of you." For he knew who was to betray him. For this reason, he said, "Not all of you are clean." After he had washed their feet, had put on his robe, and had returned to the table, he said to them, "Do you know what I have done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, for that is what I am. So if I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have set you an example, that you also should do as I have done to you. Very truly I tell you, servants are not greater than the master, nor are the messenger greater than the one who sent them. If you know these things, you are blessed if you do them." Now the Son of Man has been glorified, and God has been glorified in him. If God has been glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself, and will glorify him at once. Little children, I am with you only a little longer. You will look at me, and as I said to the Jews, so now I say to you, where I am going, you cannot come. I give you a new commandment, that you love one another. Just as I have loved you, you also should love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, O Christ.
Actually, today, It's my favorite day during the Holy Week. And it's not that I don't like Palm or Passion Sunday. It doesn't mean I don't like those palms that every year we can even smell their fresh smell sometimes. And it doesn't mean that I don't like Easter. And Easter is the Sunday full of joy. And when you see each other, encounter with each other during the Easter Sunday, and people will say, Happy Easter. That is the happy time. But somehow, the Maundy Thursday just make me feel touched. It starts from those days I spend day and night studying and serving at seminary. I still remember, like a couple of years ago, when we still have the gathering, not this church, but the church I served in Hamilton. The Lenten service start from a soup meal and then the study of the Bible verses and prayer. And you know, the Lent time especially, it starts from February. So when I enter the church, usually it's in the complete dark. So the first thing that I do was to go to a place in darkness and turn on the light. You know what? Every time when I turn on the light, I have to close my eyes for some time to let my eyes get used to the light. The darkness and the light are two things that one cannot live without another. When you walk under the sun, you always see your shadow. It's part of the darkness that we make because of the sun in the sky. The same thing as our Holy Week. Every day it has some meaning. And that was so special a lot of times to the people who are in the process of experiencing suffering, sadness. And that darkness needs to be honored, respected. It's the same thing happened 2,000 something years before our time. The first Maundy Thursday, Jesus had to experience a lot of darkness. Just imagine it. Jesus has been doing his ministry for 3 years, not a day off. Thousands of people following him, traveling all over the Judea and Samaria, and all that Middle East circle. Jesus and his disciples and thousands of people are traveling with him. And when he entered the Jerusalem finally, in the last Sunday, people take off their cloth and put the palms, leaves, tree branches, and everything they can find to put them on the road. Remember those days, they don't have the paved road. Everything either when it's dry, it's dusty, or when it is wet, it's muddy. no matter what. Any day you came out, you go back home with dirty feet. That's why they put everything that they can find on the street to keep Jesus' feet from getting dirty. That is the most respectful welcoming to the people, usually to the kings. But not long after that, only 4 days, suddenly the crowd turns become the followers of Christ to the enemy of Christ. And they draw violence to this innocent teacher. What else? He was betrayed by his own student. When he was arrested and took to the trial, there were only those women who followed him here and there. How about those disciples? Where were they? Even Peter later became the most important disciple of Jesus in the early church. He denied Jesus 3 times. A lot of times when we talk about Jesus' disciples, we think there were only one person betrayed God, which was Judas. But the truth is not that. The truth was all of them, except Zhang, left Jesus when he was arrested, trial, and crucified. We all have the dark side of our personality, of our nature, of the things that we cannot put under the light. We all know that. I have that part too. But what had Jesus done to this reality of human nature? Today, tomorrow, and the end of this week, the beginning of next week, we will hear more, little by little, about this God, the Son of God, and the Son of Man. How through his death and resurrection, and we gain the hope to become like him, and later to be able to unite with God together. Today is a special service. When we hear those words, when we celebrate the communion, at the end of the service, usually we have the sending hymn. We sing happily, and we send people out to serve the Lord. But it's not the end of today's service. Today, after strip the altar, and every one of us will leave the chapel silently. Because today's service is not one service. It's half of the service, including Good Friday, 1/3 of the service, including Good Friday service and Easter Sunday service. This is one service. But if there is no darkness, we will never appreciate the light. When the whole world is dark, a candle can do only little things. But you know what? In the darkness, complete darkness, in the wilderness, people can see that little light from a candle far, far away. Lit your candle. Become the light of this world. We can do only little things, but with the help of God, all those little frames will gather together to make it the ocean of fire. Today's hymn of the day is 708 from your ELW book. Jesu, Jesu, fill us with your love. Now it's the time that we strip the altar when Psalm 22 is read.
My God, why have you forsaken me? Why so far from saving me? so far from the words of my groaning. My God, I cry out by day, but you do not answer, by night, but I find no rest. Yet you are the Holy One, enthroned on the praises of Israel. Our ancestors put their trust in you. They trusted, and you rescued them. They cried out to you and were delivered. They trusted in you and were not put to shame. But as for me, I am a worm and not human, scorned by all and despised by the people. All who see me laugh me to scorn. They curl their lips, they shake their heads. Trust in the Lord. Let the Lord deliver. Let God rescue him if God so delights in him. Yet you are the one who drew me forth from the womb and kept me safe on my mother's breast. I have been entrusted to you ever since I was born. You were my God when I was still in my mother's womb. Be not far from me, for trouble is near, and there is no one to help. Many young bulls encircle me. Strong bulls of Bashan surround me. They open wide their jaws at me like a slashing and roaring lion. I am poured out like water. All of my bones are out of joint. My heart within my breast is melting wax. My strength is dried up like a potsherd. My tongue sticks to the roof of my mouth. And you have laid me in the dust of death. Packs of dogs close me in. A band of evildoers circles round me. They pierce my hands and my feet. I can count all my bones while they stare at me and gloat. They divide my garments among them. For my clothing, they cast lots. But you, O Lord, be not far away. O my help, hasten to my aid. Deliver me from the sword, my life from the power of the dog. Save me from the lion's mouth, from the horns of wild bulls you have rescued me. I will declare your name to my people. In the midst of the assembly, I will praise you. You who fear the Lord, give praise. All you of Jacob's line, give glory. Stand in awe of the Lord, all you offspring of Israel. For the Lord does not despise nor abhor the poor in their poverty. Neither is the Lord's face hidden from them. But when they cry out, the Lord hears them. From you comes my praise in the great assembly. I will perform my vows in the sight of those who fear the Lord. The poor shall eat and be satisfied. Let those who seek the Lord give praise. May our hearts live forever. All the ends of the earth shall remember and turn to the Lord. All the families of nations shall bow before God. For dominion belongs to the Lord, who rules over the nations. Indeed, all who sleep in the earth shall bow down in worship. All who go down to the dust, though they be dead, shall kneel before the Lord. Their descendants shall serve the Lord, whom they shall proclaim to generations to come. They shall proclaim God's deliverance to a people yet unborn, saying to them, the Lord has acted.